Pokemon Infinite Fusions is a Pokemon fan game where you can take any two Pokemon, fuse them together, and milk like, 100 YouTube shorts out of them. You can also use them to play through all of the Kanto regions. So today we're doing a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Infinite Fusions, but only using fire types. I thought that fire type Pokemon would be perfect for a challenge run because 1, their designs are awesome, but holy crap are they rare. I mean, in Generation 4, if you wanted a fire type, you have your options of a monkey, horse, and nothing else, because I know you have more self-respect than to use this duckbill cannon. But for this hardcore Nuzlocke, we do have some unique rules. Outside of the usual, no items in battle, no using fainted Pokemon, set mode, etc., any Pokemon fusion we make has to be made of at least one fire type and have a unique design. While this severely limits the amount of Pokemon we can use, at least they'll be pretty. We'll also be playing on Modern mode, which changes almost the entirety of the first games, including route encounters, gym leader typings, and overall making the game a lot damn harder. So without further ado, welcome to my Pokemon Fusion hell. And what a flaming hell it is. Our starter Pokemon was, well, Charmander, duh, and named him Aragon because I'm feeling nostalgic. Our rival instead combines both Squirtle and Bulbasaur to create Squirtsaur. What a pathetic creature. Let's put it out of its misery quickly. Now we can move on to get our first new fire Pokemon, Fletchling. Flameo, hot man, say hi to Phoenix. But we still need something to fuse our Pokemon with, so we catch a Bidoof. Now, I love Bidoof, but I will not taint my Charmander with it unless I have to. So we instead fused it with Phoenix, and aww, and look, he's a little fella who's actually ripped out of their damn mind. They easily defeated the first couple trainers we met, which is great because we're also getting a new friend. You never expect to find Slugmas this early, but here we go. Slugma. Let's name it Mabel. Slug Mabels. We're fusing this baby with a Bidoof. Or maybe we're really just melting a Bidoof down. Either way, it's a great Pokemon. But we're not done collecting little fellas, because right after our rival battle where his Pokemon aren't even fused, look, this Shinx is disgusting. Why don't you actually fuse this piece of crap with something good? We've unlocked the secret forest full of items, and more importantly, Eevee. Flareon is truly the fluffiest evolution, so I dub thee the Floof. But we're not going to use you until you've actually evolved into a fire type, but what we can do now is fuse you and Aragon together. I know what you're thinking. But Moop, now if they get KO'd, you lose 2 fire Pokemon instead of 1. And you know what I have to say? That's a really good point. You're thinking a lot harder than I was. That did not cross my mind. But it's not like thinking ever helped anyone in a Nuzlocke. It's time to fight Brock, and he's running a Steel-type gym now. It's time to smelt them down for scraps. We're only allowed to bring in 2 Pokemon since Brock only has 2, so we take Phoenix and Aragon into Rumble. I thought maybe Brock would have prepared some rock or ground moves for coverage, but he led with a Shroomish Pawniard, and with being 4 times weak to fire, we destroyed it easily. And I don't know what kind of game Brock is playing, because his Mime Jr. Steelix just tickled me 4 times in a row instead of ever actually attacking. I think this is gonna be a good run. It's a weird win, but it's still a W we're happy to take. After a couple close calls, we arrive in front of Mount Moon to buy ourselves a Magikarp and figure out that Team Rocket is once again up to no good. After defeating the cutest little Shuppet Baneri though, Aragon is ready to evolve. Look at my boy, he's so fluffy. I'm just now thinking of what a furry lizard feels like, and I don't think I like it. Mabels is also ready to evolve. Like I said, I'm not allowed to use any non-custom sprites, so immediately I have to unfuse this poor monstrosity. At least Phoenix is actually evolving and taking names. All they really did was sit down instead of stand up, but they're still destroying Team Rocket. Team Rocket's evil plan in this game involves triple fusions. How ridiculous! I'm sure this concept will never come back to bite me in the ass in a future plot point. Anyways, we beat their scientist who only had nose passes because Phoenix has water gun. Phoenix decides he's tired of sitting down and decides to stand back up after that battle, and we head towards Cerulean City. It's time for our second rival battle. I'm sorry, you took my advice and fused Shinx with a grass-type Pokemon? Do you want it to die? Oh my god. It's up to Aragon to burn up their Solis's Eevee and Encanta Pawniard to a crisp. But now we have a huge problem. See, in this version of Pokemon Infinite Fusions, Misty is an Ice-type trainer, which on paper should mean that our Mono Fire team crushes. If it wasn't for one problem, this Lapras Mantine fusion. Not only is this beast fully evolved, but it's also a Water Ice type, meaning that my super effective fire moves are now just regular effective. and it also has Stab Bubble Beam, which should tear through any of my Pokemon. Which means we need to make some major team changes. While we have plenty of options to fuse Pokemon like this Roselia Flegender, it's not fire type at all, it's grass flying, so it kind of feels like cheating to use in this run. Instead, we fused Phoenix with a Gyarados to make an amazing water fire type behemoth. But strangely, they weren't part of my plan. And yes! I do have a plan. A very dumb plan, but a plan nonetheless. See, the true hero of this run is reluctantly the fusion I made of Charmeleon and Bibarel. And Aragon has never looked more dazed and confused. So we stepped into the battle with Misty and enacted my master plan. Step 1, use rollout. Step 2, continue to use rollout. Really, that's it. See, because of Aragon's new typing, Fire Water, all of this Glaceon Tyrogue's ice moves will only do 1/4 damage, which allows my neutral rock type attack rollout to build up power. So when the dreaded Mantine Lapras finally comes out, it only takes one super effective charged up rollout to seal the deal and earn us our second gym badge. We had defeated the second gym with only a single move. It's time to head south to Viridian City, and we get to pick up some new cool Pokemon, like this Honedge, Murkrow, and a Swinub we fused with Mabel's to create this little fiery boy. He's so cute and goopy. After terrorizing the staff of a cruise ship and letting Mabel's crush our rival's silly fusions into the dirt, I mean really, is this cottony Luxray ever gonna take out one of my Pokemon? Be real. We gave an intimate massage to an old man in exchange for goods. Now we can head to Gym 3, Lieutenant Surgeon. Really? It's still this awful ass gym puzzle? You turn Lieutenant Surgeon to a fighting type gym leader, but you won't get rid of this literal trash can of a puzzle? Mabel's was struggling to beat the new gym trainer, so we decided to refuse Mabel's with a Honedge to give that sweet, sweet ghost typing. Not to mention this lava sword is pretty sick. So with our new dripping sword, we hopped into our third gym fight. Both their Nosepass Mankey and our Mabel's decided to set up with a Stealth Rock and Sword Dance respectively, but they managed to paralyze us before we could just spam Aerial Ace. Lieutenant Surge decided for some reason to sack a Pokemon, sending out their Fletchinder Machop just for it to get OHKO'd by a boosted Aerial Ace. Also, they could send out their ace, Houndoom Gallade. Our Aerial Ace did a lot of damage, but so did their bite. I assumed Surge would go for a heal, and instead they decided to switch again, but it didn't matter since we were unable to move. But Mabel's had done their job. Aragon and Phoenix were able to step in and finish the job, albeit barely. Adding Honedge was definitely the right choice. It prevented us from losing any of our Pokemon. But as we headed towards Celadon City fighting even more goofy fusions, we had a lot of reflection. We just barely survived that gym battle, and we were in desperate need of more party members. And since so much more of the map is open to us, we're able to add a bunch of them. A Litwick named Lumiere, a Vulpix named Naruto, and a Growlithe named Momo. And I know we're excited to make some more fusions, but real fast, I went to buy 3 Firestones at the Celadon department store, so the Floof is back in action, now reaching their peak floofiest form. This is where we made some big decisions to add some more type coverage to our team, fusing the Floof with a Roselia to get sweet grass coverage, and not to mention, the design is awesome. For Naruto, we wanted some dark type coverage, so we fused them with Murkrow. Now that they're edgy, maybe I should have called them Sasuke. But we still struggled to find a good fusion for Momo. I tried a couple different forms. This Diglett Growlithe was cute, but not really hitting the way I wanted it to. The same goes for this Growlithe and Mareep. Eventually we settled on this sick looking Voltorb Growlithe, not to mention Electric Fire is an awesome typing. With our new party, we headed towards Lavender Tower for yet another rival fight. Dude, I'm flattered, but you have to stop following me around places. Especially in a graveyard, it's kind of inappropriate. These rival fights aren't difficult. We've done this before, is what I'd like to say. But a single Psyshock and Leech Seed was somehow enough to take Momo down. Sad for a couple of reasons. You'll always remember the first party member you lose in a Nuzlocke. And also we just spent like 10 minutes looking for the perfect fusion, only to lose them in literally the next battle. Luckily, the rest of our team picked up the flack, but let's take our frustrations out on Team Rocket. Erica's here to help us and also to kill our random encounter Totodile. Thanks, Erica! I definitely didn't need a new party member right now! I'm gonna take this out on her bug-type Pokemon later since that should be an easy gym fight. But for now, let's focus on Giovanni. Giovanni's gonna be the most difficult fight in this run yet. And luckily we prepared by grinding on the grunts to get 3 evolutions. Aragon, Phoenix, and Mabel's all reached a new form, but I still wasn't sure we'd get out of this in one piece. Giovanni led with a Honchkrow Weezing while we had Phoenix open up with an Aqua Tail, which would have been able to 2-hit if it wasn't for their Black Sludge healing them. Very carefully, we used a Dragon Rage to keep them right above health, where Giovanni would potion and heal so that our second Aqua Tail would take them out. Next, they had a Kecleon Rhyperior, a beast of a mon, so we sent out our own magnificent creature, the Floof, who was able to tank a couple Thunder Punches and even got a Poison Point off whittling it down. While Aragon was able to come in and finish off their Zoroark Persian, we switched into the newbie Naruto to face off against their Smeargle Gengar, which they barely survived. In fact, our whole team barely survived this fight, and as much as I love our current Pokemon and their goofy ass features, we need a change up. Our typings just don't make sense for the challenges we have up ahead. We're keeping Phoenix as our sole Water and Fire type Pokemon, as it helps that they've been carrying almost every boss fight we've had so far, and I also adore the Floof's design, too much to change it. But we need to confiscate Mabel's swords and instead give them to Aragon. What can I say? Dragons are cool, swords are cool, dragons with swords are super damn cool. We wanted a hard counter for water types since they're going to be causing us the most trouble, so we fused Naruto, now a Ninetales, with an Ampharos we picked up a while back, and look, they're still adorable! And for newly evolved Mabels, we returned them to their original form with Pillow-Swine. They look even more like a volcano now, which is sick. Time to take these babies for a test drive up and down Lavender Tower, fighting all sorts of spooky ghost-type fusions. After helping Mr. Fuji and realizing how many plot points revolve around gaining the favor of old men, we were off to fight Erica, who was using some pretty nasty and terrifying bug-type Pokemon fusions. I mean, look at this thing, I'm terrified. Anyways, let's take on Erica, because burning up pests is kind of what fire-type Pokemon do best. And with a single Rock Slide, Mabels is able to crush her Typhlosion Scyther. Butterfree Mismagius was a bit more troublesome, taking Mabels down to 11 health, but they still got the job done. Naruto is able to come in and clean up her Galvantula Kangaskhan for our 4th gym badge. Now we can head down the bike path to catch a new party member, a Ponyta, which we can quickly fuse with one of my favorite Pokemon, Misdrevius. Look at this gorgeous fusion. Fire Ghost is a sick typing, and with Levitate, they're an all-round threat. Meet Bojack. Unfortunately, they won't be much use for Koga, who is rocking a dark type gym. This would probably be our most difficult fight yet, so in preparation we evolved Aragon into a Charizard Aegislash. Holy crap, this thing is literally metal as hell. Now let's show Koga our ninja way. Koga led with an Umbreon Torterra, and Phoenix's Aqua Tail took out a decent chunk of HP, only to reveal it's a Reniculus Zoroark, who set up a Reflect, but our Phoenix literally cannot die. She's so chunky that we can constantly roost to regain health and whittle this abomination down. Next, Koga sent out Weavile Talonflame, but my Talonflame fusion is just built different, what can I say, because we're able to flame charge our way to victory. Now, I need you all to calm down, but next we have to fight a Gardevoir Honchkrow. Oh, okay, stop barking. This is a life and death scenario. Let's get Phoenix out of there and send in Aragon. I mean, dragons are supposed to eat fair maidens, right? And that proved to be correct because a couple Fire Fangs and them boosting my attack with a Swagger was all it took to take down their lady, and all that's left is their Torterra Umbreon. Simple, right? Well, here's the thing. I made what might be the dumbest decision I've ever made in Nuzlocke yet. First of all, despite Aragon being at nearly full health and having 2 times attack, I decided to switch out. Not the worst decision, maybe they have Earthquake. So I sent out the Floof. Giga Drain did a decent chunk of their health, but for some reason I decided to stop doing that and do a Petal Blizzard, which got Floof within death range. So I sent out Mabels for the kill with an Ice Fang, which we didn't get, but we got a Freeze Off. However, Mabels had fallen asleep, so I needed to switch out. I had 3 options. A, send out Phoenix to easily do the job. B, send out a nearly full health Aragon to finish them off, or C, send out the Floof, which in no way can take a hit because my brain is the equivalent of a rotting jack-o'-lantern. Rest in peace, my fluffy friend. Aragon finished him off, which we probably should have done from the start, and at least some of our Pokemon evolved. Bojack is ready to step up and become a Mismagius Rapidash, while Mabels is now fully evolved as a Mamoswine Macargo. To fill the Floof-shaped hole on our team, we finally decided to take Lumiere off the bench, fusing them with a Spiritomb. They look sick, but don't get too attached, we'll find a better fusion for them soon. My party also needed a big boost in power, so I did my best Kick Streamer impression and gambled my way to getting Flamethrower. Flamethrower is important because it's probably the most consistently powerful fire-type move in the game that I can teach to every single one of my Pokemon. Once again, after losing a Pokemon, we decided to take out our frustrations on Team Rocket, who are trying to take over Silph Co. But right before our confrontation with Giovanni, our rival decides that this hostile takeover is the right time for a friendly competition. We're living living in this boy's head rent-free. Our stalker decides to lead with his fully evolved Luxray Whimsicott, this stupid piece of shit that Bojack is able to burn down with a single flamethrower. Stop leading with this, we're gonna one-hit it every time. Bojack is also able to get a Confuse Ray off on their Fracture Shelgon before Mabel switches in to finish them off with a couple of Ice Fangs. Phoenix offs their Macargo Milotic but gets poisoned, so we switch back in Bojack to down their Reniculus Espeon, and Naruto finishes off the rest of their idiot Pokemon. And as much as they've been pissing me off, at least our Yandere rival turns the Giovanni fight into a double battle, which allows us to get through it unscathed. Or it should have. I thought Phoenix should have been able to take at least one Earth Power down, but apparently not. I'm sorry, Phoenix, you were the very first Pokemon we caught, and this time you can't revive. I can't prove it, but this is somehow Luxray's fault. At least the Silph Co CEO is going to give us a new Pokemon, a Cyndaquil, and a Master Ball, but more importantly, a Cyndaquil named Sonic. Also, I know it's an echidna that should be named Knuckles, but I played this at 1 AM, cut me some slack. We fuse them together with Slacking because any Pokemon named Sonic has to stand on 2 feet. This also might be our strongest Pokemon yet, since they no longer have the Truant ability. Time for Sabrina's gym, which is going to be really difficult because it's Fairy type. Fairy is a broken typing in any generation. Not only do they resist fire types, but they only have 2 weaknesses. Poison, which we have none of, and Steel, so we're probably going to rely on Aragon for this entire fight. I mean, this Whale Lord Togekiss is so powerful it almost took out 2 of our Pokemon, and that's just a gym trainer. Either way, we still have to fight Sabrina. She leads with a Sylveon Typhlosion, which Mabel's is able to destroy with a single Earthquake before it causes any trouble. We do have to switch out when they send in a Azumarill Drifblim, because if water so much touches Mabel's, they will die. So it's time to bring out Aragon. We got lucky with a flinch on our first Iron Head, and after burning 2 potions, Sabrina decides to switch in Marowak Mimikyu. If they had outsped me with a ground move, we would have lost our starter, but that's a risk we have to take, and lucky our gamble paid off. We also managed to finish off the Azumarill Drifblim, but the aftermath was a little too close for comfort. So we switch Mabel's back in to finish off their Steelix Clefairy, which, by the way, just an all-around awesome design. And that's 6 gym badges down. We do have to bring the barrel back to the party for a bit just so we can surf down to Cinnabar Island. I did have a couple mini heart attacks because sometimes fighting these water type fusions is a bit too close for comfort. At least Sonic is a beast. Not having Truant allows Slacking to just wreck house and have amazing stats. Wait, are these guys treading water when their water Pokemon are using moves like Surf and Whirlpool? I actually have so much respect for them now. That's amazing core strength. Oh, I guess we also caught a Milotic off the coast of the island. And that's when we had a chance encounter with an Absol. In Pokemon lore, Absols are cautious and intelligent Pokemon. A creature whose very appearance is said to be a signal of misfortune to come. I'm sure this means our run is gonna go well, right? All we need to do is catch Absol and we'll have a powerful ally. Unless I fat finger it and press run instead of bag, please pray for me, y'all. Maybe we need some good luck lanterns in our life, so we're fusing Lumiere and Milotic together to create this adorable good luck creature. Hopefully this will offset any of the impending tragedies. Anyways, we have to fight our way down to the Pokemon Ranch to once again gain the favor of an old man so he'll do his damn job. Maybe he should have seen this coming because he runs a Psychic type gym now, and do not let the Milotic Gardevoir entrance you. We are not taking any prisoners. Time to fight Blaine. He leads with a Cling Clang Giraffe Rig, but Lumiere is able to smelt down with 1 flamethrower. We tried to confuse Ray the Hypnozatu, but they have this ability called Magic Bounce, which I swear does not exist. So we had to switch it to Sonic, who's ready to use Feint Attack and wipe out their Hypnozatu, and a Flame Charge to destroy their Venusaur Alakazam. All that's left is for Aragon to destroy their Reniculus Togekiss with a couple of Shadow Claws. And while I'm happy we get our 7th gym badge, we now have to fight what might be the most BS unfair boss fight in all of Pokemon history. And all because of Team Rocket. Maybe we shouldn't have taken all of our anger out on them. Their fusions are getting a lot stronger and powerful, but that's not what I'm afraid of. See, like I said earlier, Team Rocket's plan in this game involves a triple fusion of Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno. Not only does this beast get 3 health bars, but it also gets 3 attacks, meaning we have to fight 3-on-1 against these legendaries, which is completely unfair. Side note, this is actually my 7th attempt at this Nuzlocke. 3 of my failures were here. We had to come in with a strategy or it would lead to a complete party wipe. We led with Sonic, who we taught Rock Tomb, because Rock is quite effective against 2 of these 3 birds, not to mention Sonic is bulky enough that they can resist a couple of hits, but we knew they weren't going to make it through this. So, on their final breath, they managed to luckily take down Moltres before succumbing to their wounds. This is important because while we have a lot of Pokemon that resist ice, fire, and electric moves, all these birds also know Drill Peck, and Moltres is the one with the highest attack stat. Both Articuno and Zapdos are more likely to use special attacks now, so we sent in Naruto, who resists both their Thunderbolts and Ice Beams, to flamethrow Articuno to a pulp. And after that, Mabels was able to step in and whittle Zapdos down after a couple ancient power boosted flamethrowers. We had won our greatest battle yet, but with a sad loss. I'm just thankful we only lost one. But what's this look Moltres is giving us? Almost like a challenge. We prepared ourselves to catch the legendary bird, but my dumbass had only brought 10 Pokeballs, so we can't just spam them. And instead of using Disarming Voice, I once again fat-fingered into a Surf. Damn you, Absol! But not all is lost was though. Before our final gym fight with Giovanni, we still have some party members to pick up. On Knot Island nearby, a woman is happy to give us a Chimchar we named Luffy, and I'm now able to access the secret forest to the left of Celadon where I can pick up a Torchic named Tendies. There are plenty of good fusions we can make with Blaziken. This Flygon one looks dope, and Dragon Fire is a really great typing, but then again, another Steel type wouldn't hurt. Look at me in the eyes and tell me this Bisharp Blaziken isn't sick as hell. But one typing we are severely lacking on this team is Fairy, so I decided to fuse Tendies with a Mimikyu. I'm sorry, Disguise is just too good of an ability to overlook, and their design is adorable. But before we can do a bunch of fusions with Luffy, I found out that Infernape and Drifblim is just one hell of a reference. But now we can take on the final gym, which is Normal type. It's actually really cool to have a really threatening Normal type trainer. But no matter, it's time to take on Giovanni. In the lead up to this fight, we had taught most of our Pokemon Brick Break, so Naruto started chopping away like a coked up lumberjack. And good thing too, because this was not a Kecleon Flygon, it was actually just a Zoroark version in disguise. Despite a Focus Sash, it was done in pretty quickly, and next was a Kangaskhan Marowak, which, outside of just being the saddest damn fusion I've ever seen, it was for sure going to use Earthquake. So we made the safe switch into Bojack, who has Levitate. One Confuse Ray later, and I had to take a risk. I switched into Lumiere, who lucked out getting 2 Confuse hits in a row, and burned the rest of Giovanni's 4 restores by spamming Surf. Golurk and Porygon Z was also intimidating, and expecting another Earthquake, I was ready to sack Lumiere just so we can get off another Confuse Ray. But once again, we were blessed with our 3rd and 4th Confusion hits in a row. Someone out there has my back. This allowed Lumiere to live and get a safe switch into Tendi, who used Bulk Up and tanks a Tri-Attack thanks to Disguise, and 2 Play Roughs later and the Behemoth was down. Giovanni then sends out a Kecleon Flygon, for real this time, and predicting another Earthquake, we made the switch back into Bojack to get off with yet another Confuse Ray barely surviving, so that Aragon can step in and finish them off with some Sacred Swords. Lumiere also drowns their Gengar Smeargle, but that's not as exciting. We now had all the gym badges we needed to head to the Pokemon League, if it wasn't for our Stalker. We've had a lot of struggle with boss fights lately, so it's nice to realize there's still a trainer we can completely outclass. Tendi's Disguise tanks an Earthquake from Fracture Salamence to get a Bulk Up and one-hit their Fracture the very next turn, while Naruto destroys their Macargo Milotic with a single Discharge and Confuse Ray hit. And also they managed to confuse the Reniculus Umbreon as well. Why is my Confuse luck so high today? Anyways, we eventually switch back to Bojack so we can whittle them down a bit before Aragon puts them down for good with a ton of Iron Heads. This Pokemon went through like 3 of my Pokemon. This is the only one I'll give my respect to, unlike their stupid Whimsicott Luxray. How many times do we have to destroy this thing before you realize you can't even kill Aragon at 20 health? But we finished the battle strong, with Mabels destroying their Lantern Weavile and Ninja's Pawniard. That was way easier than I thought it'd be. If things go like this, the champion fight is gonna be easy. But we still have to get there. Because here's the thing, the first 2 members of the Elite Four, Lorelei and Bruno, are now Water and Rock type respectively, which means half the Elite Four is super effective against Fire types, which is basically a death sentence for our run. If I went in with my current team, we would no doubt wipe, so I needed some new recruits. In Victory Road, we came across one of them, Entei, who we took no chances with and used our Master Ball. We're not letting Absol get the better of us this time. Now, if you have any issues with me using a legendary and a Nuzlocke, kiss my ass. Each of the Elite Four members and champion has at least 1 box or major legendary, and Entei is a minor one. For the other recruit, we're heading back to the Safari Zone because across the water lies Relic Castle, where we can find Volcarona, one of the best setup Pokemon, period. I thought hard about what to fuse them with since we needed some more firepower to get us to the 5 toughest trainers in the game. So we fused together Volcarona with a Milotic and naming them Sunburst. They're a special defense tank with Quiver Dance that hopefully we would be able to set up and sweep some of the Elite Four with. As for Entei, we fused them with Lapras and named them Bosco. They're an all-rounder with a crazy diverse moveset and most importantly, Water Absorb. Going into the Pokemon League, this was our champion team. Aragon, the Charizard Aegislash holding leftovers. Naruto, the Ampharos Ninetales wearing a Choice Scarf. Mabels, the Mamoswine Macargo with a Life Orb. Tendi, the Blaziken Mimikyu rocking a Choice Band. Sunburst, the Milotic Volcarona, also with leftovers. And Bosco, the Entei and Lapras, boasting their choice specs. This is the team that I believe could get us to the end, and that could win us our crown. And with this team, we entered the Elite Four. Lorelei is arguably the scariest trainer for our Mono Fire team because water is fire's natural enemy. So we led with Aragon, whose only job today was to get rid of Politoed and Polion's Drizzle ability with a Sunny Day. This will strengthen our fire moves and weaken their water moves. Now I feel safe enough to switch to Sunburst. With Paulilion's attacks barely damaging us, it's time to implement my trademark strategy, the Coward's Dance! Which essentially just means I'm going to Quiver Dance 6 times, and once that's done, Sunburst once again puts up another Sunny Day, but not for any fire moves, but to instantly Solar Beam any water Pokemon that may appear. Empoleon Politoed, down. Swampert Luxray, down. Kingdra Dodrio, down. Gyarados Mimikyu, down. Wait, we need to put up another Sunny Day. And now it's down. But while Spiritomb and Pyukumuku went down, Innards Out brought their health down dramatically, which was kind of scary because it was just in time for their ace, Milotic and Giratina. This is one of the sickest designs I've ever seen in the entirety of Pokemon Infinite Fusions, and unfortunately our Solar Beam was just enough to not one-hit KO it. I prepared myself for the worst. Sunburst had served us well, but this fool decided to use Aura Sphere, and with our special defense 3 times boosted, it didn't even do double-digit damage. Maybe we should have lost Sunburst there, but I'm not gonna look a gift Ponyta in the mouse. I'll take the W and my living Pokemon. But that's just the first of 5 challenges. Next, we have Bruno and his Rock-type Pokemon fusions. I led with Sunburst, thinking that once again we could just do the Coward's Dance, but their Talonflame Tyranitar came in to kill the party. We got Bruno to burn through all of their potions, but I can't bear to lose Sunburst to Sandstorm of all things, so we were forced to switch into Aragon. But it turns out Talonflame was the coward because they U-turned into a Marowak Rhyperior. I knew a super effective move was coming, so I sent out Tendi to tank it with a disguise. Tendi with a Troy-standard Woodhammer was broken, taking out Marowak Rhyperior, Tyranitar Talonflame, and a Noctillery Omastar. Good job Tendi, time to rest. Armaldo Kabutops is another rock water type, which counters almost all of my team. But now it's Bosco's time to shine. We used Sing to get it to sleep, and then it was just a matter of spamming Thunderbolt, but Bruno still had tricks up their sleeve, switching into a Cradilly Luxray. But that was their mistake. It's obvious they're going to use an electric move, so now it's Mabel's time in the spotlight. One Earthquake was all it took to take down the beast, and Mabel's made quick work of their Armaldo Kabutops as well, but now we needed a solution for this. Probopass Groudon. Mabel's used Earthquake, because what else could we do? It took out a good chunk of his health, but we definitely wouldn't survive another hit. We had to sack Mabel's for a safe switch into Tendi, who could probably take it out with a Woodhammer, is what I thought. But Mabel's, the GOAT, managed to tank a full Solar Beam with 1 health remaining and finish Groudon Probopass off. Unfortunately, with her Life Orb, it meant that she was gone too. Thank you, Mabel's. Whenever I feel the ground shake, I'll always think of Slug Mabel's. Mourning the loss of one of our oldest Pokemon fusions, we challenged Agatha, now a Poison-type trainer. We led with Bosco, who we had taught Psychic to. They were shearing this Clefable Roserade so hard, we felt confident enough to burn a Sheer Cold for the W. We play risky around these parts. Next is a Crobat Ampharos, so we made the switch into Tendi. I was confident we could tank a Poison move, but we didn't even need to. They decided to use Discharge instead. We'll take it, just like how they took 2 Blaze Kicks into the neck. The only Pokemon Agatha had left are special attackers, which means you know what time it is. Coward's Dance time, baby. Quiver Dance, Quiver Dance, Quiver Dance. Psychic, Psychic, Flame Burst. Even Ho-Oh Muck loses themselves in the groove of the Coward's Dance. I'm glad that Agatha was so much easier than the previous 2 fights, but let's see if Lance is any bit of a challenge. Lance is a flying type trainer now that Naruto is ready to roast. We electrocuted his Togetic Talonflame and he decides to follow up with Darkrai Dragonite as your second Pokemon? We switched into Tendy because a Dark Dragon type should be putty in a Fairy type's hands, but we missed our first Play Rough, which basically gave me a heart attack, but the AI Lance decided to actually make a smart decision and switch out. We switch into Aragon, who is the backbone of this party, and they switch into a Doublade Crobat. But Steel types are not really an issue for our team, not to mention my sword is bigger than yours. So Lance decided to switch again, this time to a Chandelure Skarmory. Chandelure, Aegislash, bro is really trying to rip off my team. But Aragon isn't our starter for nothing. He throws both the Skarmory and the following Aerodactyl Sceptile into the trash. Tendy is able to finish off Darkrai Dragonite, even if I once again fat-fingered them into using Shadow Claw instead of Play Rough. Curse you, Absol! Also, Aragon finished off their Doublade Crobat and Aegislash Salamence to secure us the win. But there's still one trainer left. And for the first time, we're following them instead of the other way around. It's time for the champion fight. We may only have 5 Pokemon, but they're damn good ones. Let's finish this. They opened with Ninjask Bisharp and got off a Sword Dance, but Naruto isn't about to let that stand, and we burnt them to a crisp easy. Next was Haxorus Salamence. I love the goofy proportions for this fusion. It kind of looks like a corgi after everything is said and done, but a single earthquake stopped me from laughing. Rest in peace, Naruto. You served us well. Basio comes out though with an ice beam to show them our ninja way. But our rival's next Pokemon should have been that dumb Whimsicott Luxray, and instead it's now a goddamn Luxray Arceus? This stupid Whimsicott piece of shit got tired of us wrecking them every single battle and decided to become God. Maybe I shouldn't have made fun of them so much. A single Thunderbolt took our legendary doggo down. This is an issue. Maybe Arachon could beat them down with Sacred Sword, but a single Stone Edge took our health down to 15%. I wasn't prepared to lose our starter, but I guess that we weren't even worth fighting, because our rival decided to switch into Reniculus Umbreon. I had a plan, but it required a sacrifice. Rest in peace, Aragon. You were with us from the start of this run, and I'm glad you could see it through to the end. When all is said and done, and I only have 2 Pokemon left, there is only one move I can fall back on. Coward's Dance, baby! Reniculus Umbreon is a heavy special attacker, which lets Sunburst get off all the Quiver Dances we want, before spamming Heat Wave. It's still not enough to one-hit KO the Fox Fetus, but it is enough to down half the health of Arceus Luxray. We couldn't have done it without Aragon and those Sacred Swords, but the next Pokemon was an equally terrifying beast. A triple fusion of Torterra, Empoleon, and Infernape. We managed to get through it, but our 3-time stab attack Heat Wave only did half health. How was I supposed to win this fight if I didn't set up with Quiver Dance? After we finished the creature off, the last Pokemon was an anticlimactic Chandelure Weavile, but we had won. Yes, only a third of our champion team was alive, but I had beaten Pokemon Infinite Fusions, a hardcore Nuzlocke, only using fire Pokemon.